Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and I'm trying not to stand in front of Chuck's sticker. That's it right up there, and it's kind of hard for me to do. If I move right, I'd go the other way in the camera, so you know it's confusing as everything, especially for a redneck. And I went yesterday. Me and the boss lady went down to Whataburger, which is where us rednecks in Texas like to get our hamburgers, and we had finished up our burger pretty much, except I was still on my fries, and the boss lady had finished up, and she says, well, I'm going to go wash my hands. And I thought, okay. And see, she had been sitting there speculating, well, look at all those trash bins are full, and those lazy people are just standing around shooting the bull. Well, when she come back, she sat down and she says, well, I told them to empty the trash bins. And I thought, oh my God, you know, and I looked around, and sure enough, here come three of them with black trash bags, and you know, they were getting after it. And I know that she's the boss around here, but she is undoubtedly the bossiest woman I've ever met in my whole life. If you ever meet her, she'll probably tell you what to do or where to go. So that's the way it goes. All right, let's get on here with trying to make a ball turner and see if I can come out with anything worth the darn or not. Well, we'll find out, I guess. Let's get on with it. Okay, you can see my layout lines on there. I don't know. And then again, maybe not. Hard to make it focus into that spot. I'm going to kind of fish around for what it takes to be lined up with my lines here. And I guess that cutting it down about this far, that should be about right. I don't need it tapered, you know, in all the way to the bottom, because none of that stuff down there is going to touch anything anyway. Chances are this wouldn't touch anything, but maybe it would. So it'll look better to be tapered part of the way. How's that? Or wedge shaped, or you describe it and I'll buy it. So, see how close I've got. Take a little cut across there and find out how close I am to be lined up. Probably not close enough, but we'll see. Very close, not just exactly. They weren't really grand about putting pointers on this thing to know what degree you're on, but I think I'm close enough. I can figure it out anyway. That looks fairly good to me. We'll go down and take about switch back to inches here. I think it's about a 50,000. Alright, so now I got to turn the table around and do the same thing on the other side. So seeing one side done, you've seen them both. Alright, so I didn't have it in the vise quite good enough, so I got a ding on the back side here where the cutter grabbed it and pushed it over like that. Now I've got a little blemish right here on this side in the middle here, and the exact same thing over here. So I guess the whole time it probably wasn't in the vise tight enough, and things have moved a little bit enough to make that. It's not pretty. It's not Ox-Tool Co. or Randy Richard quality, but it's still going to be functional. It's the right height. Things fit together, so it ought to make a ball. The ball don't care what the cutting tool looks like anyway. So now we've got to come up with a handle, and we'll try it out and see if I'm finished. I still don't know if I need any little pins to go in the bottom to hold it down or not, but I'm still in doubt of that. Grizzly says not to use this little vise as a milling vise because it's too weak. But they didn't say I couldn't drill a hole with it and use it for a drill press vise. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little start on a hole here, and then I'll move up to a little bit bigger end mill and sort of countersink it, and then we'll try to drill it. We'll move it over to the drill press for the actual drilling, and we'll put a 1/2 13 thread in there, and we'll make us a 1/2 13 handle. And then we'll use the ball turning tool to make a ball to go on the handle. Alright, so now I'll get a 5/8 end mill, which is the size of the piece of metal I chose for a handle. And I'll make a little 5/8 flat spot, and I'll try to put the drill chuck in there and sort of hold the center drill, and then we'll move to the drill press for the rest of it. Alright, we'll center drill it, and then we'll drill it for the right size for 1/2 13 tap, and then we'll tap it. Alright, I didn't bring the drill bit. I'll have to go get it. Alright, okay. Now then, we're going to try using this in the drill press. We'll see how good it does. I don't really have it bolted down because I don't have bolts that fit it. I may have to find something, but let's see what this is. That on the side there. Maybe that'll slow it down. Too fast. Gotta slow it down. Alright, that's slow. Changing the bit, the belt on this thing is a really tough job. Well, when I was over at the drill press drilling and tapping the hockey puck there, I didn't notice that you guys had gone to sleep. So you missed out on that part. I looked up and the camera was dead, and I'd been standing there talking and drilling and not noticing that y'all weren't with me. So I guess that's the way it goes. Anyway, we're gonna thread actually the end of this bar, and then we'll figure out how long we want the handle to be, and we'll thread the other end, and we'll make a ball to go on the handle with our ball turner if it works. Alright, so just bear with me a second. Alright, so let's cut this 5/8 rod down to 1/2 inch and thread it half 13. We don't need much thread because the hockey puck's not threaded very deep. Alright, now I'll take the parting tool and I'll make a little relief there, threading relief, and then we'll attempt to thread the thing. Meanwhile, I'm changing tools, you guys can sleep. Alright, so we'll set the gearbox to cut a half 13, and so 13 threads per inch is, where is it? It's on here. There. 13 is right there. Okay, just got to slide just right. That'd burn it. Alright. Third hole over there, and 13 is in the A over here. There we go. I don't know. It's going to be a little short thread, and I'm going to run the machine slow, and when I get close to finished, then I'll take a half 13 die and finish it up just to be sure that it's nice and smooth. Deburr it a little bit. And we'll try to... Well, while I thought I was single pointing that thing, you guys were focused on something altogether else. So I guess when I go back to the camera, I'll figure out how much of it needs to be thrown away. Anyway, I've cut some of the threads, got it started pretty good. Now I'm going to run a die down it to finish it off. I guess that makes sense. It does to me. I don't know about you. Alright. I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other end. And it is no fun in watching the same thing twice. Alright, I got a nice piece of Delrin there. We'll drill a little hole in it and thread it 13, half 13, and then this is what we'll screw on the end of the handle to be a ball. Well, the old saying is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I've figured out about where the center of the little hockey puck was, and I measured out 3/4 of an inch. And then I lined up the tip of the tool as well as I could with that 3/4 inch mark, and then I measured from the end of this piece of Delrin 3/4 of an inch back. So if I figure 3/4 of an inch is the radius of an 1.5 inch ball. So I'll try to start working it off like this, and if it turns out to be an 1.5 inch ball, that's great, and if it doesn't, well, it doesn't, you know. But I've never used a ball turning attachment, so I'm at a little bit of a handicap, so let's just start and see what we get. Well, that looks like looks like I made it just a little bit off the sides there. That's what it looks to me like. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I just don't know. I'm going to move it down here so that it's that'll pretty much touch the end, guys. I don't figure that's about a good spot to be. And then we'll just feed it in a little at a time. No doubt this thing should have been smaller. I got a feeling it should have been 1.5 inches in every direction. It's not the Delrin that's damaged, it's just this guy slipping in the threads. Alright, so I'll make more gentle cuts and we'll get it down to 1.5 inches long. Alright, I cut down on the end a little bit. I'm sure if this turns into a ball at all, it'll probably be 1.25 inches or something, because I think I may have moved too much off of one end or the other there. But the best thing for me to do is to try to get just as close as I can to where I was, I guess. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, now what I think I need to do is to trim up this stuff back here, because obviously I made the thing way too long for making the ball. So I'm going to loosen this thing up and use it to trim off the excess, and then we'll reset it and we'll come back to you. Alright, now then, I got it shortened down enough to where I can get close to the axle, I guess, if you want to call it that, or the bolt or whatever. We can get in close there, and at some point I'll figure out how to know what size ball I'm making, but right now we're just going to try to make a smooth round ball, and we're very close to it. It certainly didn't turn out to be 1.5 inch ball, though, I can tell you that. There we go, 1.4675. I missed it by quite a bit. But anyway, it's close to 1.5 inches, and I was probably sort of right on setting this thing, how far I set it back. And it turns there without a problem, and it doesn't try to jump off or chatter or anything. So I guess the method of construction was okay. So let me get a little Scotch-Brite, see if I can clean that up, and then I'll come back and show you the ball in service. Alright, so here's the ball turner, the ball I turned with it, and it's about the right size. It fits my hand all right, so 1.5 would have been nicer, but what the hey. And I think we're in business. When I figure out all the ins and outs of ball turning, I'll try and make graduations along here so that I can know how big of a ball I'm going to make if I move it back to one distance or another. But I only missed it a 1/10 of an inch, so I must be on the right track. Alright folks, that's where we're going to wrap this thing up. And appreciate y'all viewing. I know you could have done a lot of other things while you was watching this, so I want to just say thank you for viewing. And let's go see if there's a joke or something. Well, so one day Boudreaux, he stops into Isidore's place, which is the local watering hole there, you know. And he walks up to the bar and he says, "Hello there, my friend, Mr. Isidore." He says, "I'm sure glad to see how you're fixing up this place." Isidore looks around. He says, Are you drinking already? Drunk there, Boudreaux?" He says, "I ain't done nothing to this place in the whole 40 year I've been here." Boudreaux says, "Oh no," he says, "you done fixed it up." He says, "You got 4 doors." Isidore looks around. He says, "No," he says, "there's just a front door and a behind door like always." Boudreaux says, "I'll tell you what," he says, "I bet you $50 I can show you 4 doors." Isidore says, "You own." He says, I need to make a little money." So Boudreaux says, "What?" He says, "The front door," he says, "that's 1 door, right?" Isidore says, yeah, that's right." He says, "And there's the behind door." He says, "That's 2 doors, right?" Isidore says, yeah, that's 2 doors." Boudreaux says, "Your name is Isidore. That's a door, ain't it?" Isidore says, "Well, yeah, I guess so." He said, "But where is that 4th door?" Boudreaux points down at the sign. He says, "Right there, that cuspidor." He says, That's a door, ain't it?" Isidore says, "Yeah." Boudreaux says, "That's 4 doors. Give me my $50. So he took his money and went on off. So Isidore's sitting there fuming over this whole thing, being took like that. And in comes Thibodeau. So he says, "Hello, Thibodeau." He says, "I sure am glad to see you, my friend." He says, "Especially on a fine day like this when I done fixed up my place so nice." Thibodeau looks around to the right and left. He says, "Isidore," he says, "you ain't done nothing to this place in the 40 years you've been here." Isidore says, "Oh no," he says, "now," he says, "I got me 4 doors now." Thibodeau looks around and says, "Isidore," he says, "you got the front door and you got the behind door." He says, they always been here. That's all the doors you got." Isidore says, "No," he says, "I bet you $50 I can show you where all the doors are at." So Thibodeau says, "Yeah, okay." So he throws down his money. Isidore says, "The front door," he says, "that's 1 door, right?" Thibodeau says, "Yep." Isidore says, "In the behind door," he says, that makes 2 doors, right?" Thibodeau says, "Yep." Isidore says, "My name is Isidore." He says, "That's a door, ain't it?" Thibodeau says, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And Isidore starts pointing down the floor and he says, "Oh," he says, "here's your $50. He says, "That's $100 that dang spittoon done cost me today." Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.